Imagine looking across the Chesapeake Bay and seeing solid ice instead of water. In some winters during the late 1700s, the cold became so extreme that parts of the Chesapeake and its rivers froze thick enough for people to cross on foot, even by horse and wagon. One of the most dramatic freezes came during the winter of 1779 to 1780, and it happened in the middle of the American Revolution. Ships sat locked in place, harbors froze, trade across the Chesapeake slowed to a crawl. In the late 1700s, the Chesapeake Bay was the economic highway linking Maryland and Virginia. Grain, tobacco, timber, and military supplies all moved through these waters. But when the bay froze, that highway suddenly disappeared. Merchants couldn't move cargo, fishermen couldn't launch their boats, and colonial ports fell silent. Major rivers feeding the Chesapeake, like the Potomac, Rappahannock, and Susquehanna, froze along their shorelines. Even large harbors struggled with thick drifting ice. For American forces fighting the Revolution, this winter created serious problems. The war effort depended heavily on water transport. Frozen rivers meant frozen supply routes. Food shipments slowed, ammunition shipments stalled. Entire military plans had to adjust to the brutal cold. The British Navy faced similar challenges. Warships relied on maneuvering through the Chesapeake's wide waterways, but thick ice could trap fleets near port. The winter of 1779 to 1780 was part of a colder climate period known as the Little Ice Age. Across North America and Europe, winters during this time were often far harsher than those experienced today. Historical records describe deep snow, frozen rivers, and bitter winds that lasted for weeks. For communities along the Chesapeake, daily life became difficult. Fishing slowed. Markets struggled to receive goods, and transportation shifted from water to frozen roads and muddy trails. The Chesapeake, normally full of ships and trade, became eerily quiet. For weeks, ice controlled the rhythm of life. When temperatures finally warmed, the thaw created new dangers. Massive sheets of ice broke loose and drifted through rivers and harbors. These moving ice fields damaged docks, boats, and waterfront structures across the region. The return of open water came with destruction. The frozen Chesapeake reminds us that history is not shaped only by armies and leaders. Sometimes nature itself becomes a powerful force. And the winter of 1779 to 1780 was not the only time these waters froze. Several brutal winters locked the Chesapeake in ice. In some years, people even crossed parts of the frozen waterways by horse and wagon. The Chesapeake has carried trade, war, and history for centuries, but every so often, even this vast bay can fall silent beneath the ice. If the water remembers it, we'll tell it. Subscribe to River Realm Life for more hidden Chesapeake stories.